Hi, stamping friends. I made these beautiful cards yesterday, and I wanted to share with you what I've been up to. I went to an event, and the lady demonstrated another company's product, and I thought, oh, I have butterfly framelits at home. I'm going to go home and try to do what she did. Now, mine doesn't look exactly like hers, but I'm pretty happy. So this was my first one. And I decided that it needed a little bit more color. So I did a black one underneath. So I hope that you can see just how pretty these are. The other thing that I did was on this one, I used Whisper White cardstock. And on this one, I used Shimmery White. I know you can't see it on the video, but I just thought maybe it would give it some extra sheen and make it even more fabulous. Now, if you'll notice, there's no sentiment on the outside. I played with different things. I just didn't like it. It took away from the beauty of the front of the card. So this could be any type of note card or birthday card or a thank you card. So you can put your sentiment on the inside. You don't always have to put it on the outside, especially if it takes away from the intricate beauty of the front of the card. All right, let me show you what I did. And just so you know, we sell the Shimmery White cardstock, Stampin' Up does. It's not as big of a pack, so you kind of want to use it more sparingly. I wouldn't use this as a card base, but instead just cut it up into pieces and use it on the card front like I did. All right, so I have my Big Shot machine, and I have the butterfly framelits on here. I have the smaller one of the butterfly framelits, and I have, let me just show you my layering here. I have my black cardstock, and then I want to put a piece of wax paper, you know, the stuff from the kitchen. I don't know if I ever use it in the kitchen. I keep my roll in my craft room. And then you'll put your framelit on top of the wax paper. What that does is help release all these intricate little pieces from the black cardstock. So there's so many areas that are being cut out with the die that the wax paper helps release that, okay? So then I have my top plate, which I do have a plate underneath. So we've got the magnetic platform, the cutting plate, the black cardstock, the wax paper, and the framelit. And then we're going to put our other cutting plate on top. Oops, I moved my butterfly. And then because this is so intricate, I always use what I call a shim. It can be any piece of cardstock or anything that's thin like that to allow the, just give it a little bit more pressure. So you can kind of see that I'm having a little bit of trouble. If you put in something that's too fat and it doesn't roll, then you'll know, oh, that was too thick. Now I'm just gonna do this 3 times. I have just figured out that 3 is the magical number for me. So let's see what it looks like. Yay, it cut it all out. I love that. All right, so now I want to share with you one other thing. When you are removing, I have my little trash bucket here for scraps. I take the paper piercing tool from Stampin' Up, and I like to just hold this over, and I've kind of got my finger underneath. I don't want the butterfly to actually release yet. I just want help getting all these little pieces out. Okay, so I'm going for the larger holes, not the tiny holes. So when I say tiny holes versus the larger holes, the tiny holes will actually release the butterfly from the die, and I'm just not ready for that yet. I want to get all of these little bits and pieces out, and this is just the easiest way. So with that said, be careful that you don't poke your finger. So I've got my finger, you know, away from the holes, and I'm almost done. It's just easier, okay? Then you can get rid of all those chads, those hanging chads, if you would. Okay, get those off. All right, so now I'm ready to go back in and actually release the butterfly from the framelit. And I'm just hitting those tiny little holes. This just helps you not tear. Okay, so I can feel that it's released, not tear. All right, now My black butterfly is a little frosty looking. That's the wax paper, okay? But I also see that I missed a few holes. So I'm going to go in here and take those out. See how easy, whoops, flinging the butterfly. See how easy that is to do? Okay, so now I'm happy. So now what I have to do is get that wax paper off. Ta-da! Isn't that pretty? All right, so now we're going to do it again. And this time we're going to use the Whisper White, or the Shimmery White cardstock. So, get my framelit out. All right, so we have our platform. We have our Shimmery White cardstock. Now, if you look at it, one side is shimmerier than the other, so just you want that side facing up. Back with our wax paper again. And you need to decide where you want it on the white cardstock. On the black, it didn't matter because I was just cutting it out. So what I'm doing is I'm just kind of angling it, looking like the butterfly's flying. And then back with our plate and our shim. And crank it through. And how many times do we do that? I'm going to do it 3 times. It really, if you do it 3 times, it just releases so much easier. It's just worth those extra few cranks to get that to come out. All right, same thing. We'll get rid of our wax paper and get rid of our chads. Now, the white paper is a lot easier. The black cardstock has more pigment in it, and it does take a little bit more push through to get that, to get those chads out, to get those little designs out. I call them chads because I don't know what else to call them. Okay, so now let's release her. Release our butterfly, and this is coming off so much easier than the black did. Again, getting rid of those extra little ones that I missed. Okay, now you can't see it, but we know that that wax paper is on there. One card I did, I forgot to take off the wax paper, and when I put it on my card, I was like, why does that look like a funny color? So it was kind of funny when after the card was totally finished, I had to get the wax paper off. All of that picking on the white, I realized that the wax paper was still inside of my framelit. So no worries, we're good to go. Notice that the butterfly has a little bit of flight to it versus my black one. My black one, because it's a stiffer cardstock, is pretty flat, whereas my white one is already trying to fly away. So isn't that fun? All right, so now we have our white, our shimmery white, and we're going to bring back the Big Shot one more time. And this time we're going to use the platform that came with the Big Shot. And I have separate plates that I like to use for my embossing folders. And the reason being is if these embossing folders, or if these cutting plates have never been used to actually cut, then when I put my embossing folder in, I get a very perfect embossed area, versus when you start cutting with these, there's a little bit of a warp to them. They're not as smooth, and they just don't hit all of those embossed areas. So I recommend I just keep them labeled, and I just know that these are the ones for my embossing folders. All right, so now I'm going to take my shimmery white, and I'm going to put it in the embossing folder. By the way, this is one of the new ones from the Occasions catalog, and I just love it. All right, so let's put in, and let's crank that through. All right, excuse me. When you look at your embossing folder, one side is de-embossed and one side is raised. So that's the one that you want to use to, you want it to be coming up. Now, because I used yellow on the other cards, I cut a few other bases. So I want to see what it looks like with pink and black and Calypso Coral in black and all that. So I have my silicone rubber mat. Really, guys, you need one of these. You can use adhesive on any surface and your surface stays clean and doesn't have a gooey, gummy, sticky effect. I'm using the Multipurpose Mambo glue, and on my de-embossed side, on the back side, I'm going to put a thin line of glue. And I'm also going to come in towards the butterfly just a bit so that those cut areas will stick down well. And see, I have a little bit of glue on there, so if I had just put it on my work surface, then I would have glue on there. Lay that down. Okay, so now I'm going to take the black one and I'm going to do the same thing. Get out my silicone mat, flip it over, and just put some dots of glue just wherever. Doesn't matter if I hit or miss because it's going to go through to my silicone mat and it's not a problem. See, what a mess. Then I'll take and put in the black. Oh, this is going to be pretty with the pink. This is Melon Mambo. Okay. All right, so now we're ready to add our flying butterfly. And what I did on this piece, I didn't put glue everywhere. I just put it on the body. Lay that right there. And then you can take a pencil, your paper piercing tool, and just tap it down so that it has a good firm adhesive. Look at that. Woohoo. Only thing it's missing now is some bling. I love the bling. When you buy the rhinestones from Stampin' Up, I find that I always use all of these and I always have these left over. So how perfect was that to use that for the body of this gorgeous butterfly? So I just pulled it off and I'm going to start at the head, hold on to it, come down to the tail, and then I'm just going to take my snips and snip it, maybe. When you do videos, you're at a different angle, so, and then again, I'm just going to tap down. These are self-adhesive. I'm going to take this, stick it back on there, and my beautiful card is done. What do you think? I think I like the Melon Mambo. Then, of course, I can stamp anything on the inside that I want, and this gorgeous card is done. Thank you for stopping by.